With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Good evening and welcome back, once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, the Performance Motorsports Truck Series fires off in Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Atlanta 108 here, presented by Swift Motorsports. How you doing? How you feeling out there in Raceland? Glad everybody's well, doing well. Myself, Darkside Dave of the Cave here, bringing you all the calls from the trackside here tonight. Happy hour already in the books. Familiar man at the top of the speed charts in happy hour. That's right. Michael Atkins Jr. taking the top spot in happy hour. Looks like qualifying has already begun. This 5-minute session of qualifying, multiple drivers already out there. And while we've got some time, why don't we go ahead and run down your point standings coming into tonight's race. There you can find it right center screen right there, coming into race number 5 here in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift. Leading the points coming into tonight's race, the 86 of Alan Young, Todd Cray right there behind him, just 8 points back. A little bit more of a gap back to the third place runner right now, the 66 of Edward Bragg, Caden Atkins right there, Jim Thorndike, Nick Hunt, Jason Harrison, Michael Atkins Jr., Britt Crawford, and Kevin Haas rounds out your top 10. Gonna scroll a little bit more through your championship standings for you. There you go. There you have it. That's about all she wrote for all of these drivers last night. John McMillan Jr. going to victory lane in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints ARCA Menard Series. Let's see if he can't go back-to-back racing nights here in Swift Motorsports. Looks like a lot of drivers already on the speed chart, so we'll give your timing and scoring right there. You can follow along with the qualifying just like we do up here in the booth. Looks like Austin Hill in that 16 Toyota Tundra, top of the speed charts right now. Quick time for Hill, 30:87. As the final 2 minutes in qualifying are on the clock now, we still have a few drivers yet to put in their time lap here tonight. Gary Wells, Chris Scala, Justin Gann, Britt Crawford, Larry Poling, Ryan Branchew also not putting in a time lap now. Looks like Jason Harrison, Nick Hunt gonna jump out on track. 22 drivers now on the speed charts. Nobody able to dethrone Austin Hill at the top of the speed charts here so far. Still quick time, 30:87 belonging to Hill. Michael Atkins Jr. very close there, 30:88. 30:94 Todd Cray, and with just about 60 seconds left to go, not looking like there's anybody really out there on track that's going to be able to do anything with the top of the speed charts. Chris Scala, Nick Hunt, Ron Schutte all make their way inside the top 10 here as qualifying begins to come to a close. Last week's race winner, Todd Cray. Can he repeat? He is the only multiple-time race winner so far this season. 4 races in, we've got 3 different winners so far here tonight, so can Nick Hunt, maybe Alan Young, can they put a second win in the bag, or can the man at the top of the speed charts right now translate the quick time here in qualifying over into race pace, into race speed? The long green flag runs last night here in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints ARCA Menards Series, so look for that to happen one more time. Final 10 seconds remaining. Nobody gonna be able to do anything with Austin Hill. Jason Harrison close, but no cigar, gonna slot in that second spot. And as qualifying comes to a close, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna step away from the track for just a brief minute. We'll be right back with all your starting order here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, so don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be back right after your national anthem.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the boats bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Backtrack side, jets flying over, you know what time it is. Race fans, it's time for these drivers to hit the starting grid. Looks like a few of them still trickling in, making their way through final inspections here tonight. You can hear it off in the distance, off in the background, that very familiar sound. You know what that means. You know what time it is. It's time to run down tonight's starting lineup for race number 5 here in season number 2 for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, presented to you by Swift. The Atlanta 108, starting inside a row number 1, driver inside of that 16 machine, Austin Hill. Lining up just to his outside, the 44 of Jason Ayerson. Starting inside row number 3, the 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. Todd Cray in the 21 gonna slot in just to his outside, row number 3. Here tonight for the Atlanta 108, the 15 of John McMillan Jr. Caden Atkins right there in the 2 machine. 7th place starting spot, the 86 of Alan Young. Jim Ott in the 4 gonna line up just behind him. Inside row number 5, Chris Scala inside that 11 machine. And the double O of Nick Hunt rounds out your top 10 here for your starting lineup here in the Atlanta 108. Let's go back one right there. You go. Ron Schutte in the 28 machine gonna line up in the 11th spot. 12th goes to Andy Starcher. Inside a row number 7 here tonight, the 84 of Sebastian Guggen. Britt Crawford gonna line up in that 14th spot. Inside row number 8, the 5 of Lee Staples. Just to his outside, very familiar man, podium spot last night, the 59 of Jim Thorndike. Starting in the 17th spot at a Palmetto Racing, the 1 of Kevin Haas. The 66 of Edward Bray gonna line up just to his outside in the 18th spot. 19 goes to John McMillan Sr. Don Kidder gonna line up in that 20th spot. 21st goes to David Cameron. The 22 of Brian Hitz gonna start in the 22nd spot. 23rd goes to the 95 of Jimmy Cormier. Toby Bird gonna line up right there in 24th. 25th goes to Stephen Ayers Jr. Justin Gann, Gary Wells, as well as Ryan Branchew, Larry Poling round out the field here tonight. Few of the drivers up there pulling admin duties tonight. Want to give a big shout out to them, doing everything they can to keep everybody straight out there on the track. And with that being said, we're set to fire things off for the first time here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Man, oh man, it's been 1 week and I have not been able to stay still. Last night's race was absolutely amazing. What will tonight hold? Ford Mustang pace car ready to duck on off for the first time here tonight. Field comes to the restart box. Your pole sitter fires off. Green flag flies for the first time here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That 16 Great House Toyota Tundra looks good heading down into turn number 1. Nobody really on his heels right now. Battle is for that second spot between Jason Harrison and Michael Atkins Jr. Side by side off of turn 2 down the back stretch now. It's a double file madhouse. Back behind your race leader, Austin Hill. Now Michael Atkins Jr. starting to pull away just a little bit. Has that second spot looking for a run. Looks to cross over, goes to the inside, gonna block just a little bit now. Atkins has that position, has the preferred spot heading down into the corner. Gonna inch just ahead. Right there, still not quite clear of Austin Hill on that outside. Caden Atkins runs in the second spot. Jason Harrison now back to the fourth spot, losing 2 spots from where he started tonight's race. Just on that outside pole, close battle at the front of the field between Michael Atkins Jr. and Austin Hill. These two drivers have not settled the battle for the top spot. Looks like most of the field behind them already starting to get single file. We'll stay with the battle for this race lead here for just a few more laps, then head back through the field as we've got some battles all over the raceway. Drivers all over each other. Chris Scala right there battling with John Jr. And it looks like John McMillan Sr. may have had a little bit of trouble. Brian Hitz also off track, so both of those drivers with a little bit of trouble very early here tonight. Side by side for the second spot, Austin Hill loses the race lead to the new race leader, Michael Atkins Jr. Your top 3 now all nose to tail as the 2 of Caden Atkins slots in just behind that 16 machine. Jason Harrison right back behind him. Todd Cray looking to creep himself on up into a top spot. There you can see that familiar brightly colored 21 machine. The 4 of Jim Ott gonna make the pass, gonna make the run on the inside work. Drivers all the way through the front of this field, already single file here tonight. We'll go back to a little bit of the battles just outside of your top 10. There you see that long train of cars being led by Nick Hunt, Andy Starcher in the 19 Monster Energy Chevy Silverado sitting right there in the 12th spot. Britt Crawford, Lee Staples right there in tow. Big battle now between Sebastian Guggen and Edward Bray. Bray all over the rear of that 84 right now. And Jim Thorndike, he is right here in that mix as well. Thorndike looks to the inside of Bray. Pulling even now, pulling off of the corner. Inside lane is where it is at here tonight so far in the Atlanta 108 here in Performance Motorsports Truck Series race number 5 in season number 2 for Swift Motorsports. And these drivers hammer down since the drop of the green flag. Very close gaps all through the field. We'll jump back up towards the front as we continue to watch Todd Cray as well as Jim Ott. Alan Young right there slotted in just 1 spot behind Ott. Young struggling a little bit here, trying to get back to victory lane. See if the consistency can pay off as we just over the quarter way through this season already. Very short season here in Swift Motorsports. 15 races for season number 2. Take a short break, then we'll come right back with season number 3. Keep your eyes peeled for all of that coming up, race fans. And if you haven't already, join me in tossing these Performance Motorsports Truck Series drivers a thumbs up. Let them know you appreciate all the great action they give to you, not just tonight, but each and every week in and week out here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for Swift Motorsports. Looking over at everything, timing and scoring, looking at the chats, all that. I tell you what, very early in tonight's race, only lap number 10 out of the 108 scheduled here in the official race distance tonight. And let's see it, chat. Let's see who you got. Let's hear who you're rooting for out there. No, it's very early, but who you got in tonight's race? Let's take a poll. Let's see who can get the most votes. I tell you what, we're going to end this little voting poll right about lap 30. What do you say? So you got a few laps here to make a decision. See if your driver has any issues before that. And it looks like 3 wide back here. Chris Scala going to the inside. Almost 3 wide for a brief moment there. Jim Ott way up the track. Right on Chris Scala's door panel as they exit the corner. Ron Schutte in that Serve Pro 28 machine. He's looking to take a spot away, but now losing a little bit of ground as the Popeyes machine, the 00 of Nick Hunt, looking for a top 10. Meanwhile, front of the field remains the same. Michael Atkins Jr. has stepped out to a 0.3 of a second race advantage. Austin Hill now slotted in that second spot, has about a 0.7 second advantage over Caden Atkins. So your top 2 stepping away from the field, but Atkins has got Cray right there breathing down his neck. Jason Harrison, John McMillan Jr. as well as Alan Young all packed up with each other. Now, Jason, that's illegal. You can't pick 4 drivers. That's just not fair. Oh, caution on the track. Driver around. Oh, no. Looking to see who it is, and I don't think it's going to be good. There you can see David Cameron, Britt Crawford, both involved in this one. We'll take a look back here with our Turn 3 replay and see how it all went down. There you see Cameron in that 10 machine, and it looks like it had already happened. Indeed it did. Oh, Crawford already down on the apron, damaged in the 10. Did not see him, had nowhere to go. There you see Crawford getting turned and spun off of the front end. Ooh, hard impact there from multiple drivers. Take one more look at this from a different angle if we can here. There you see the contact in the 1 machine, just nowhere to go. Kevin Haas gets collected, and then, oh, tough break right there. You see the 10, just nowhere to go down there on the apron, right in to the damaged 08 of Britt Crawford. There you see Crawford smoking, coming to pit road just in front of your race leader, stacking them up, coming to pit road. We'll rejoin the field live at the front. Looks like everybody gonna come down pit road this time by. Nobody electing to stay out. Everybody wants those 4 fresh tires. So we'll let these drivers get their first pit stop in here tonight. We'll step away from the track for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
back at the track under caution for the first time here tonight in the Atlanta 108 race number 5 in season number 2 for Performance Motorsports Truck Series, presented to you by Swift. The Precision's Designs number 2 Ford F-150 has taken control of the race lead, grabbing the top spot, coming off of pit road in second, but Michael Atkins Jr. making another pit stop, giving up that top spot. He'll line up back, shotgun Sally, tail end of the field, all the way back in the 18th spot here for this restart. So we'll keep our eye on that Fast 41 as he has got a ton of ground to make up, a ton of time still left to get it done, but he has got an absolute ton of ground to make up here tonight as the field makes their way off of turn number 2. Ford Mustang pace car lights are off. We're ready to fire things back out when we hit the restart box. As I said, Caden Atkins going to bring the field to green. Austin Hill going to line up just to his outside. Jason Harrison, Alan Young, round out row number 2. Jim Ott, John McMillan Jr. going to line up in that inside third row. Jim Ott, Nick Hunt also right there. Ron Schutte, Todd Cray, and Jim Thorndike round out your top 10 here for our very first restart of the race. Pace car going to make that left-hand turn any minute. There it goes. Field getting to the restart box. Green flag flies once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Field off and up through the gears. Pretty good. Looks like nobody getting stacked up at the... whoa, just like that. 86 comes down. That's going to have these drivers checking up. Nick Hunt gets sideways. Starcher goes around. The 5's involved. Multiple trucks caught up in this one. Multiple trucks caught up in this latest one. A big stack up after the 86 drop to that inside lane. We'll take one look at it here. There you see the battle. 21 gets into the 00. Sends cars up the track. The 6 gets involved. The 84, the 19, the 5, all catching some sort of damage out of this one. One more look at it here. And there you see just nothing for Nick Hunt to really do. Sideways, the 5 clips him just a little bit, then up into the 19. The 19 gets into that outside wall. The 84 and the 6 involved. The 6 bumping the 84 into the accident. Both of them catch a bigger piece of it as they make their way through it. Close call right there on the apron for Michael Atkins Jr. Just barely scooting through there on that inside lane. So we'll rejoin the race back at the front with your race leader Caden Atkins as he stays out on track. Looks like the 66 of Edward Braid, Nick Hunt, Sebastian Guggen all going to bring their cars to pit road. Ryan Branchew, Michael Atkins Jr., Don Kidder, Larry Poling also on to pit road. More than half the field down on pit road this time by, and we have had multiple drivers caught up and put out of tonight's race very early here tonight, right at about the quarter way through tonight's race already. The same number of cautions tonight that we had last night. Nonetheless, a lot of drivers continue to soldier on. We'll wait for the timing and scoring to readjust itself. As there you see multiple drivers scored out of tonight's race. Multiple drivers already in those double digits lap down spots. Stephen Ayers Jr. as well as John McMillan Sr., both of those drivers down multiple laps and pretty much out of tonight's race. Stephen Ayers Jr. is gonna need a miracle if he's going to want to finish inside the top 10, being scored 12 laps down as we continue. Under caution here behind the Ford Mustang pace car. You know, I'm not too much of a Mustang fan, or not a newer Mustang fan, I should say. Love the older styles. But that iRacing Ford Mustang don't look too bad, huh? What do you think? And still trying to contemplate that move to come to pit road by Michael Atkins Jr. He gave up that top spot. There you see him just off in the distance in that 41 chromed out red machine on the bottom of the raceway. Slotted in that 11th spot right now, but he was leading the race. When he came off of pit road, elected to go back down to pit road. That gave the race lead to your current race leader inside of that Precision's Designs number 2 Ford F-150, Caden Atkins. And I've got a question, and I wonder if it's a fuel mileage thing. Maybe he just needed an extra lap or two of fuel to get his strategy to play out or work out the way that the crew chief is wanting right now. Who am I to, second guess a crew chief call there, but not so sure about the strategy to take it back down pit road and give up that top spot. He's going to have to be careful making his way up through the field, and now it looks like he is indeed slotted in that 11th spot for this latest restart as timing and scoring slowly starts to figure itself out over there on the left-hand side of the screen. Ford Mustang pace car ready to duck off this time by. Field in the hands of your race leader, Caden Atkins, as he waits for the pace car to jump on out of the way. Then he'll jump back in the gas, back on the loud pedal, waiting for the restart box. There it is, and green flag flies once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Atkins gets out to a good jump. Jason Ayerson right there on that rear deck lid of Austin Hill. Alan Young in the 86 machine. There you see Alan now slotted in the 4th spot, up 3 positions from where he started tonight's race in a big run off of 2. He's going to look to the inside of Harrison in that 44. Battles going on all through the field, side by side right there, side by side just behind them. Todd Cray, Ron Schutte, John McMullen Jr. battle for the last spot inside the top 5. Don't look now, because here comes that 59 of Jim Thorndike, the 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. right there on his heels. Chris Scala, big stack up off of 2. Thorndike involved. More trucks go around. Caution. Flag. No, caution. We stay green. Caution flag gonna fly now. And multiple trucks caught up in this stack up. We'll have to take a look here, see how it all went down. But we've seen Ron Schutte and Toby Bird, they also had some issues. We'll take a look back here. There you can see them. Schutte gets a little loose off of 2. Cray nowhere to go. Thorndike gets involved in multiple other drivers. Toby Bird, and I believe that was Toby Bird on the inside going into that inside wall. Yes, indeed it was that 99 right there. We'll take one more look at this. And I believe that's 11 that gets caught up. Yes, it is. Hard impact for both of those truck drivers. That's going to put more drivers down there on pit road behind the 8 ball here. Working just past the halfway point. Looks like most of the race leaders are going to head down pit road this time by. So with that being said, race fans, we're going to step away for a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with all your green flag action live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway.
North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400 lap race on this 1.625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and third Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
His second win of 1987.
We got big-time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. Looks like your car is toast. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Backtrack side as the field makes their way through 3 and 4, doubled up once again. Ford Mustang pace car lights are off. Gonna make that left-hand turn for our 4th start of the race. 3rd caution so far here tonight. Field in the hands of that 2 Precisions Ford F-150. Caden Atkins waits for it, gets on the gas, green flag flies once again here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and the Atlanta 108 tires definitely a key factor here tonight. There goes the 86 looking for the bottom, not going to move just yet. Harrison going to slide in third. The 15's going backwards. John McMillan Jr. going backwards right now as the 6 of Ryan Branchew looks to the inside. Here comes Austin Hill down to the bottom. He's going to take that spot away from Don Kidder, now looking to take a spot away from John McMillan Jr. Hill going to have the run off of 4, going to cross the stripe first. And Hill now back up inside the top 5, going to look back. Where is Michael Atkins Jr.? Still mired back in the field, back now in the 10th spot after giving up the race lead on our 2nd caution of the race. Austin Hill drops to the bottom into 3, takes that spot away with ease from Branchew. And now your top 3 looking in their rear view mirrors because they see a very fast 16 Great House Toyota Tundra piloted by Austin Hill making their way riding to their mirrors just now, looking to the outside. Here comes Hill looking for another spot. Hill's going to take the third spot away from Ayrson. Alan Young looking to the inside of Caden Atkins, looking to go 3 wide. Will Hill shove it in the middle? No. Gonna stay just tucked in right behind Caden Atkins. He's gonna push him just out in front of Alan Young. Now the run looking to the outside once again is Hill. Hill gonna pull a little crossover here off of turn number 2. Drag race down the backstretch side by side as these truck drivers enter turn number 3 here on lap number 32. Austin Hill looking for the top spot. Once again, your pole sitter back to the front. New race leader, Austin Hill. Looking through timing and scoring, and as this battle slowly begins to dissipate, we'll jump back here as Michael Atkins Jr. He's making his way back up through the field now, battling for a top 5 spot. Just behind them, Jim Ott, Todd Cray battling for position, as well as the 6 of Ryan Branchew, all lined up nose to tail with each other and not letting Atkins Jr. get away. John McMillan Jr., great run last night. Can he replicate that finish here tonight? Still a very, very long way to go here in tonight's Atlanta 108. 34 out of 108 laps scheduled in the official race distance already on the books. Lap number 35 getting ready to get underway. Gonna go through and do a little house cleaning as the field has settled down just a little bit on this latest restart. Started tonight's race with 27 drivers. We have still got 20 out there on the track with only 18 left on the lead lap. Ron Schutte in that 28 machine. Gonna be the last driver scored on the lead lap. Jim Thorndike right there in the 59 machine scored the first car off your lead lap. Heavily damaged front end for that 59 GTR simulator machine, and Thorndike just trying to get all that he can. Gonna jump back to the battle at the front because Michael Atkins Jr. here he comes side by side through 3 and 4 with Caden Atkins. The 41 gonna take that second spot away. Look just behind that. Look at this, race fans. Close battle as these drivers make their way into 1 and 2. There you see the 44 down on the bottom. That Auto Insurance sponsored number 44 machine trying to make his way up into not just the top 5, but back inside a podium spot. Caden Atkins Jr. just off in front of them, last driver in those podium positions, and now Ayrson making his way around, gonna grab that 4th spot. Still battling side by side on track, Alan Young with John McMillan Jr. Very close quarters racing as they make their way off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Todd Cray slotted just in front of Jim Ott. All over these 2 truck drivers battling it out right now side by side, working their way off of 4. Austin Hill, Michael Atkins Jr. have stepped away from the field. They enjoy right at about a second race advantage over Caden Atkins running in that 3rd spot. Now Jason Ayrson starting to pull away just a little bit as these Ford trucks still battle on track for that 4th spot. Jason Ayrson with, I apologize, for that 5th spot. John McMullen Jr., Todd Cray, Alan Young, Jim Ott, all right there packed up with each other. Got to go a little bit further back to get to the driver running in the 9th spot. There you see him on screen. That 6 of Ryan Branchew. Branchew caught up in a little bit of an incident earlier. Truck none Worse for the wear, the 03 of Don Kidder right behind him. And there you see that familiar Popeyes 00 Chevy Silverado piloted by Nick Hunt, just outside your top 10, running in the 11th position. Good wrench service to the bottom. Gonna have it at the stripe. Put Kidder up into the 9th spot. Looks like we may have lost yet another driver here tonight. Jimmy Cormier had a little bit of an incident. He is down on pit road, beating and banging away on his Performance Motorsports Truck Series Chevy Silverado. The 95 has seen some better days, and he is falling well behind the field now. That's going to leave us with just 21 drivers on the track, with 18 on your lead lap. Battle at the front starting to heat up just a little bit. We'll rejoin that here in just a second. Gonna go first to this battle between Jason Harrison and Jim Ott. Battle for the 7th spot. Ott right there with Young Cray, not too far off in front of him. So we've still got 4 truck drivers all nose to tail making their way out of turn number 2. There you see Ott Nat Autos Insurance number 4. Something else, looking at the timing and scoring here, race fans, looks like Austin Hill, Michael Atkins Jr., as well as Todd Cray, all on the pit road on lap number 25. Most of the rest of the field back around lap number 14 or lap 19. So much fresher tires for your top 2 runners on track. Battle slowly going away between Jim Ott and Jason Harrison, so I tell you what, we'll rejoin another battle that's a little bit hotter right in front of them. There you see 3 trucks, all nose to tail. Caden Atkins, John Macmillan Jr., and Todd Cray, they're battling it out for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And tell you what, race fans, why don't we go ahead, throw it up in that bottom right-hand side for you. Let's go to your battle box. There you see the miles an hour, the car number, as well as the gap between these drivers battling for that 3rd spot. Caden Atkins has it. John Macmillan Jr. and Todd Cray just behind them, trying to see if they can't make their way around and into a podium spot. Cray with a good run now through 1 and 2. Gaining some ground on that 15 as they make their way down the backstretch. Big draft for that 21. Even bigger draft for the driver just off in the distance. There you see the 86 of Alan Young. He's starting to close that distance. But these top 2 drivers, Austin Hill, Michael Atkins Jr., these 2 drivers have absolutely stepped away from the field. Both of them now upwards of 2.8 seconds in front of Caden Atkins as they make their way around the wounded 28 Serve Pro machine piloted by Ron Schutte, another driver down 1 lap. There you can see field making their way around some of these heavily damaged vehicles here tonight. There you can see the 22 losing a lap. Brian Hitz gonna lose yet some more ground and some more time. Sorry, had a little bit of a yawn there. Apologize about the brief little moment in between words, but you know, talking a million miles an hour, you got to get some air every now and again. Closing in on the halfway point here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Atlanta 108. Your pole sitter has control over the race. So once again, that 16 Great House machine piloted by Austin Hill has a 2/10 of a second race advantage over the 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. And I tell you what, race fans, while we've got it at your halfway point, or right at knocking on the door of the halfway point, why don't we run down through your top 5 as they run on the track here tonight. Right there you have it, man at the front of the field, pole position, leading the field right now, lap number 50 underway, the 16 of Austin Hill. Just behind him, hot on the trail, driver in that second spot, the 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. Back in the third spot, there you see John McMillan Jr. making his way by one of the lap markers. We do have multiple pit stops underway. Caden Atkins, Alan Young, Don Kidder, Jason Harrison, Edward Bray, and Andy Starcher all to pit road that time by. That's going to leave the man right there hounding that 15 for that third and final podium spot, the 21 of Todd Cray. Looking to the outside, Cray's going to go around the 15, who comes to pit road. Jim Ott in that number 4 machine, sponsored by Pure Ink in Autos in Assurance, the 37-year-old Michigander. Is that a word, Michigander? I think it is. We're going to roll with it. The 4 of Jim Ott. More drivers to pit road that time by, as we have got our first round of green flag pit stops underway. Drivers looking for that pit road entrance, as it looks like Ott gonna break off for pit road, as well as Todd Cray. Looks like more drivers behind them. Ryan Branchew also gonna bring his machine to pit road, while your race leaders continue to work out there on the track. They have got much fresher tires. They have got a lot more fuel in the tanks. They can stretch this green flag pit stop out for another, I would say, 8 to 10 laps here. Just a matter of how much time these two are willing to give up to those fresher tires. The field should come back around into the hands of Austin Hill and Michael Atkins Jr., but you know how things go under green flag pit stops. You never know. Could the pit road police pop somebody here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway? A few drivers falling victim to those pit road police last night here in Swift Motorsports Ayers Eye Racing Paints Arkham Menard Series. Looks like everybody clean and clear so far here tonight with their green flag pit stop. Your top 4 still yet to come to pit road. And a big shout out to my good buddy out there from Next Gen Racing, Roy Hyde, in the chat. Good to see you over here, buddy. Good to see the support, and thank you for the confirmation on Michigander. I knew I could count on one of you guys out there to set the book straight. As it looks like Austin Hill, he's going to peel off, come to pit road. That's going to leave Michael Atkins Jr. out on the racetrack. How long will that 41 stay out on track? How much time is he willing to give up here before he brings it back down to pit road? Gonna have to keep our eye on this pit road delta. Looks like fastest time on and off pit road as it is right now, 44.77 seconds. Caden Atkins and Alan Young both with those same times, and Michael Atkins Jr. not wasting any time. He's gonna peel off, come down to pit road this time by. And that very well may cycle that man right there that just got himself back onto the lead lap. That might just get Caden Atkins into the race lead, as he's been able to pass Austin Hill off of pit road. Now Alan Young also making his way by Hill. That is going to be a big disadvantage now. Those fresh tires really coming into play, as Austin Hill, as well as Michael Atkins Jr. coming to pit road good 5 to 8 laps later than the driver on screen right now. The driver leading the race at this point, 5 laps actually later than Caden Atkins, coming to pit road on lap number 50. Looks like Michael Atkins Jr. on lap number 56. Austin Hill back on lap number 55. Todd Cray running in the 4th spot on lap 52. He was on pit road. So it does look like most of the drivers that made that first stop got onto pit road first. Looks like they advanced the most. So indeed, we see those fresh tires come into play. The importance of those fresh tires very, very big here as your race leader works his way into lap traffic all over that 62 on the exit of turn 2. That could have ended up bad. He made his way by the 11 with no problem. Chris Scala going to fall yet another lap down here tonight, now being shown 10 laps off of your race leader. Crossing the line, going to begin lap number 59. Atkins has a 2.5 second race advantage. And there you see those fresher tires already coming into play for the 16 of Austin Hill. He's been able to run down Alan Young, make the pass, and there you see him setting off in the sunset already. A 3-truck advantage. By the time he made his way back to turn number 3, he'll set his sights now out of that Toyota Tundra on the man leading the field, the Ford F-150 Precision's Designs, piloted by Caden Atkins. Gonna look through the fields, find a little closer battle. There you see Todd Cray in the 21 machine, 1 lap fresher tires than the driver in front of him. John Macmillan Jr., after going to victory lane last night, sits inside the top 5, trying to break his way back into a podium spot here tonight in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift. Good close battle here for the 4th and 5th spot on track. Alan Young, you might as well throw him into the mix. He's running in that 3rd spot, so this right here really a battle for that final podium spot on track as we cross the line to begin lap number 62 out of the 108 scheduled in tonight's official race distance. Battle for 3rd right now. Michael Atkins Jr. slowly closing in, only 6/10 off of this battle, so I would say probably in about 2 laps here we're going to have ourselves a 4-truck battle for that final podium position. And while we've made ourselves up and over that halfway point, if you haven't already, race fans, toss these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you stopping by each and every time that you do, whether you're just casually stopping through or the dedicated fan, friend, or family. We do appreciate you each and every time you tune in here tonight. And there you see, once again, while you should just smack the daylights out of that like button, 2 spots, 1 corner, Michael Atkins Jr. goes back into your top 3. Now he'll set his sights back in on the drivers at the front. Caden Atkins has lost that top spot to Austin Hill just 1 lap ago. On lap number 63, Hill able to take it to the bottom and make that pass. And now just look at that. Look at the advantage he has already opened up, knocking on the door of 0.8 of a second advantage over Caden Atkins as Atkins dives to the bottom, trying to make his way around lap traffic. And here comes that fast 41. Look at him just eat him up off of the corner right there. That is a great run off of the bottom of the corner exit. Great run out of that 41 machine piloted by Michael Atkins Jr. They have got that thing hooked up and souped up and heading to the front of the field, now slotted in the 2nd spot. Do want to take a minute to give a big shout out to 2 drivers out there tonight. Both of these drivers up in the double digits on improving their starting position. Don Kidder in the 03 up 12 spots from where he started tonight's race all the way back in the 20th position, now running in 8th. Want to give a shout out to this driver right here, the 69 of Larry Poling, soldiering on here tonight. Off of the lead lap, the first car off of the lead lap of Poling, up 15 spots from where he started tonight's race. That's right, he started dead last here tonight and has driven his way up into the 14th spot. While meanwhile, at the front of the field, we've still got that 3-truck battle. John McMillan, Todd Cray, Alan Young, all swapping spots, but still right there running with each other. Caden Atkins trying to make his way around, I believe that was the 28 of Ron Schutte. Ron Schutte right there having some trouble early in tonight's race, slotted in the 20th spot as they run right now. Closing in on just under 40 laps remaining, and there you can see on the timing and scoring, multiple drivers scored out of tonight's race, and multiple drivers scored in the double digits off of the lead lap. And I tell you what, looks like not much house cleaning left to do. 21 drivers still left on the track, 13 on your lead lap. As we continue this long green flag run now after a rash of early cautions here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway, known for having some trouble, knowing for drivers tangoing, if you will, with each other, tangling, getting their trucks a little roughed up. Track very abrasive, tire wear can be sketchy. Oh, the 2's getting sideways off the corner, drifting off of the corner exit of 2. He's going to give up that spot. John McMillan Jr. looks to his outside. 15 now goes into the 3rd spot, final podium spot on the track. Todd Cray ready to pounce, ready to try to take the 4th spot away and give himself a little bit better of a chance at making a podium finish here tonight. But Caden Atkins, what a wheelman. Sideways, drifting that truck off of turn 2. Looking around the track for battles, we got this one on screen, but we've got this one at the front of the field. The 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. has been able to close the distance, has been able to close up on Austin Hill. And I tell you what, while we've got a chance, while we've got the opportunity, why don't we go down trackside with one of our onboard cameras here tonight? Why don't we see if we can't take a look from the inside of the cockpit of that 41 machine. We'll now go on board with Michael Atkins Jr. And there you can see these drivers trying to make their way methodically through these back markers. Jim Ott in the 4 machine coming off of pit road. Multiple laps down here tonight is Ott, but continuing to soldier on. That may just very well be the theme of tonight's race. Drivers having some issues, just having to get the damage fixed, having to try to gain all that they can, and it looks like Ott not able to make the minimum speed. He's going to pull it back down pit road, let these crew members beat and bang on it just a little bit more. And I tell you what, that is a great shot on board with the driver in that 2nd spot, Michael Atkins Jr. inside of the 41 machine. Do want to give a big tip of the cap to everybody back in that 41 stable, allowing us to put the camera on the helmet here tonight. Battle still raging at the front of the field between Austin Hill and Michael Atkins Jr. Looks like they've got now a 5.3 second Race Ed Advantage drivers running for that third and final spot in the podium. John Macmillan Jr. there, you can see him. He's got Todd Cray, Alan Young slotted in just behind them. Young falling off the pace, now 0.8 of a second off of this battle. This is a battle for that final podium spot here tonight, and look for Cray to try to find a way up into the podium. He has had one race win already this season. Looking to start having a little bit more consistent finishes of the races. And Cray looking to break in to your top three. Battle at the front. Here you go, side by side for your race lead. Drag race into turn number 3. Hashtag the beast is here on the side of Michael Atkins Jr. Close right there, drifting up off of the corner exit off of the bottom of turn number 4. They'll ride through the tri-oval. Just a half a truck separate those two as they head back into turn 1. Man, this battle is beginning to heat up at the front of the field, and it looks like we may be slowly closing in on yet another round of green flag pit stops. I'd probably say you should see some of these drivers coming to pit road in about the next 5 to 8 laps, and that will carry them to the end of tonight's race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Performance Motorsports Truck Series. Presented to you by Swift. Live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, your home for Swift Motorsports. Long green flag run underway. Andy Starcher gonna be the first driver on pit road for what very well may be the final stop of tonight's race. We've still got 29 laps remaining, race fans, so still very long way to go. Alan Young, Jason Harrison, Don Kidder, Edward Bray bring their trucks down pit road for what should be the final time here tonight. We'll drop your timing and scoring over there off on the left-hand side for you on the screen. And there you see Jim Thorndike after a great run last night in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints Arca Menard Series here by Swift Motorsports. That 59 has seen some better days. Caden Atkins going to bring his Ford F-150 back down to pit road for what should be the final time here tonight. How long will Austin Hill and Michael Atkins Jr. stay out on track? They have built themselves an advantage. The 41's going to break to pit road first. Michael Atkins Jr. doing an okey doke. He's going to pull to pit road this time by. That's going to leave Austin Hill out on track all by himself. Lee Staples, Sebastian Guggen still yet to come to pit road. Those are drivers that are not on the lead lap right now. How long will Hill stay out? Will he bring it to pit road this time by? No, gonna stay out on track yet another lap, so stretching this fuel run here as he has put, once he makes his way around pit road right here, he has put the entire field one lap down right now. So this very scary situation, very sketchy situation for the entire field. So should the caution come out at this point in time, that is going to hurt a lot of drivers. Continuing to stay out on track, though, Austin Hill stretching the fuel mileage, stretching the strategy game here tonight in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series, sponsored by Swift. Man, I tell you what, Austin Hill continues out on track, continues to put the laps down, and looks like maybe breaking off for pit road this time by. Yes, indeed, Austin Hill gets it to a slow down to 55 miles an hour. Michael Atkins Jr. making his way by Hill. He'll put himself back on to the lead lap. I was going to say reassume the race lead, but he will be battling for that race lead because Sebastian Guggen right behind him. Alan Young slotted in the 4th spot. Guggen yet to come to pit road, so he'll have to make his final stop. He'll vacate that 3rd and final podium position off of pit road, already beginning to slot his way down the track. Getting up to speed, but not going to be able to keep that top spot. Michael Atkins Jr. fires off and around Hill, and that very well may have been the nail in the coffin here tonight for the field. Michael Atkins Jr. now out to a 5-second advantage over Austin Hill. Man, I tell you, that is a huge difference here on lap number 86 out of the 108 scheduled in the official race distance. Austin Hill now 5.5 seconds behind your race leader, Michael Atkins Jr. in the 41 machine. There you can see him right there, man, on your screen. Huge race advantage, huge gap to play with as we slowly click off the laps, knocking on the door of just 20 laps remaining here tonight. Gonna take your race information off the screen for a brief moment. Pop up the ticker back at the top for you. 22 laps now remaining here tonight. Can this man pull it off? Can he keep it at the front of the field? That GTR simulator machine piloted by Michael Atkins Jr. has not been to victory lane yet in this truck series. Sitting 8th in the point standings coming into tonight's race. So a race win definitely going to push him up through the point chart and get him maybe back on track. We have seen this 41 machine dominate the first 3 races in the Ayers Eye Racing Paints ARCA Menard Series, winning the first 3 races of the season. Now he's here trying to take over the truck series and looking to start on a good foot. Could this very well be the day that he puts that 41 in victory lane? Still a long way to go, race fans. But we are down now to just 9 cars left on the lead lap. Edward Bray back in the 66. He is the last car scored on the lead lap. Andy Starcher sitting down 1 lap in the lucky dog position, rounding out your top 10. Gonna check in and run back down a few of the drivers on your screen once again. At the front of the field, your race leader. There you see it. The 41 of Michael Atkins Jr. Driver sitting in the 2nd spot, crossing the stripe right here, this time by the 16 of Austin Hill. Back in the 3rd spot, driver sitting inside that 2 machines, got his Precision Designs Ford F-150 ramped up, ready to go here towards the end of tonight's race. Caden Atkins sitting in that final podium spot. Man, that went to victory lane last night in the ARCA Menard Series, looking to get back in the booth in the podium here for a post-race interview, breathing down the neck, all over that rear deck lid of the driver in front of him, the 15 of John McMillan Jr. Driver slotted in that final top 5 position. There you see him flashing by your screen, the 86 of Alan Young. Won't just stop at your top 5. Let's go back to your 6th place runner on track, Jason Ayerson in that 44. Todd Cray in the 21 machine slotted in the 7th spot right now. Don Kidder in that familiar Intimidator paint scheme, the 03 Good Rent Service Chevy. The Silverado slotted in the 8th spot. Edward Bray right there with just 1.5 seconds back from Kidder. Bray slotted in the 9th spot. Andy Starcher in the 19 Monster Energy machine. There you can see him on screen from Hyperdrive Motorsports. Now, last driver inside your top 10. Back to the 11th spot on track as they run the 84 of Sebastian Guggen. Lee Staples in the 5 right there, slotted in the 12th spot. He's trying to make up some ground, see if he can't get his way by that 84 machine and move himself up into the 11th spot. Staples slotted in 12th. Larry Poling in the 69. There you can see him, Ohio native, up 16 spots from where he started tonight's race, slotted in the 13th position. Still soldiering on after a very long night here tonight, the Illinois driver, the 59 of Jim Thorndike, sitting in the 14th spot. The battle at the front is closing in with 13 laps to go. Austin Hill has closed that distance to under 2 seconds now. Michael Atkins Jr., if you remember, he took over the race lead, stepped out to about a 5.5 second race advantage, and already picking up 4 seconds of that back. Austin Hill is on a tear, on a mission right now. Can that 16 catch him? There you see it. There you can see the distance. He can see the back end of that 41 truck, so look for Hill to be stomping on the gas just a little bit harder, trying to get a little bit more out of that great house Toyota Tundra. Not a lot of battles for position to speak of. Alan Young slowly starting to close the distance to Caden Atkins. That's going to be a battle for the 4th and 5th position on the raceway. Jason Harrison right there as well. And I'm telling you, Austin Hill is coming. He is there. 1 second now separate your top 2 drivers with 10 seconds to go. Last time by Michael Atkins Jr., your race leader, 32:54. Austin Hill, 32:16. So the pace is there. He's going to get there. But will he be able to pull off the pass in time? Will there be enough laps to try to work over that 41? Michael Atkins Jr., no slouch, not just going to roll over because Hill gets to him. Hill is going to have to earn this one. He's going to have to put, well, I would say the big boy gloves on, but he's going to have his head down and elbows up, and he's going to have to earn this victory. He's going to have to take it from Michael Atkins Jr. Switch cameras up here, back to your race leader. We'll follow along here and watch as Austin Hill, there you can see him just behind him, starting to click off a little bit more and a little bit more each and every lap. How you doing there, Elijah? Mr. Travis in the house, good to see you out there. How you doing? How you feeling? Glad you could join us for some great racing action here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Atlanta 101 for the Performance Truck Series. Here for Swift Motorsports, race number 5, coming to a close here in season number 2. Glad you could all join us, race fans. If you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash the bell. You know the rest of the deal. We do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by with 6 laps to go. Austin Hill has now got that gap down to under a half a second. He is closing. Man, I tell you what, he's closed the gap, but it's like he's almost hit a wall. High five for your race leader. 5 laps remaining here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as Michael Atkins Jr. continues to lead Austin Hill. Hill has closed up 5 seconds from that last green flag pit cycle, but it looks like he's almost hit a wall now, finally able to gain a tenth or two on the entry of turn number 3 here. That gap's going to close even more now, down to just 0.3 of a second advantage for your race leader, Michael Atkins Jr. right there in the 41 machine, trying to find a way by Lee Poling. Poling going to go to the bottom, washes up the track just a little bit right in front of that 41. That's going to slow the run down, give the advantage off of 2 to Hill. He's going to come with a head of steam. And it looks like he had to jump out of the gas just a little bit there on corner exit to avoid slamming into that outside wall. Hill had the opportunity. He's seen it. He was able to get by Poling as well, but lost a little bit of ground having to jump out of the gas, having to jump out of the throttle to keep it out of that outside wall with 3 laps remaining. This is the closest battle on track right here at the front of the field. 2 drivers that have pretty much battled it out at the front of the field all race long. We've got your pole sitter, Austin Hill, on screen. He's trying to run down this man right here, your race leader, Michael Atkins Jr. in the 41 gets the popsicle sticks as he crosses the line, this time by just 2 laps remaining for that 41 to pilot that machine to victory lane. Can he hold off the charging Hill, or will Hill get there by the end of it? Down the back stretch, doesn't look like he's going to close any distance. Looking through timing and scoring, looks like Jason Harrison right there closing the gap as well on Alan Young. So that's a battle for the last spot inside the top 5. We'll keep our eye peeled on that. White flag flies. Final lap here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Atlanta 108 here for Performance Truck Series in Swift Motorsports off of turn number 2 for the final time. Your race leader slides down the track into turn number 3. That's going to be all she wrote. Hill back 0.4 of a second. Not going to be able to get there. Working his way off of 4 for the final time tonight. Checkered flag in hand. Race win in the back pocket. What a finish here at the end of tonight's race, but being able to hold off Austin Hill in clinch his first victory of the season here in the Performance Truck Series for Swift Motorsports. Man, what a race. Man, what a win for the driver inside of that 41 machine, Michael Atkins Jr. As he brings it to the front stretch, gonna come to a crawl and get his celebration on. We'll get things ready to go for your post-race interview. So as he begins to show us a little bit of his smoke show abilities, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Race fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with all your post-race interviews here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. backtrack side as the replay runs in the background. Man on the screen, driver slotting home in the third and final podium spot here tonight. Let's see if we can't catch in a brief word with the driver inside of that 15 truck, John McMillan Jr. Man, didn't I talk to you last night?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Back in the podium, making it a habit, hey?
Yeah, it's good news, that's for sure.
Absolutely, man. Maybe not quite where you wanted to finish tonight, but still a great, solid showing here tonight in the Atlanta 108, finishing in the third spot. Tell us a little bit about your night and how the truck handled through some of the traffic and some of the battles that you had.
Yeah, I found the truck got really tight beside people. It was hard to pass people. That's what I really found. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've found in traffic is it was hard to pass people.
So, walk us through the fuel strategy, because coming through those green flag pit stops, we've seen about a 6 to 7 lap difference on the tires there coming to the end of the race. How important were those 4 fresh Goodyears?
They were very important. As the tires started to wear, you could not drive it in the corner, especially in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 was really slow. 1 and 2 was still pretty quick, but you lost a lot of time on 3 and 4 on old tires.
Well, next week we head to Dover once again for the Truck Series, just as well as the Arca Menard Series. What's your thoughts moving towards that concrete, it's nicknamed the Monster, so I might as well just say it, that concrete monster of a track there at Dover?
Go in there for both series. I'm just looking for a top 5 out of both of them and try and keep the points up high and try and claim my way into the chase.
All right, John. Well, I mean, it has been a pleasure talking to you in the podium post-race interviews over the past few weeks, going to victory lane last night. Another solid podium finish here tonight, walking away in third. So before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 15?
Just thank my family and my father, and thank you as well, Dave. You do some great broadcasting.
Well, we do appreciate the kind words there, John, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week, and maybe you'll be able to lift that Miles Monster trophy.
I hope so. I look forward to it.
All right, there you have it. Driver walking away in the final podium spot. There you see him on screen, the 15 of John McMillan. And that, race fans, is going to bring us to the driver that walked away in the second spot here tonight. Let's see if we can't get a quick word with Austin Hill in the 16. Heck of a finish here tonight. You got a copy?
I got you, man.
Hey, man, another solid, good run here tonight, walking away in the second spot. Walk us through the strategy there through the end of the race. You stayed out a little bit late and gave up a little bit of time. Do you think you may have stayed out a lap or two too long?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, with the outcome how it was, but I kind of already had it in my mind I was gonna run that whole fuel run out, and pit whenever I was out of fuel, just because I knew tires were huge tonight, especially when you go to a place like Atlanta that eats up tires. Within 10 laps, you're already falling off the pace a lot, and you're really having to try to save that right front tire. So, I was thinking just running the fuel run out and then having the better tires there at the end. But by the time I got to him, I don't know if he just had a really good pit stop and my pit stop wasn't as good. I wasn't expecting to be, 5+ seconds back. So I really had to work hard to get to him. And then once I got to him, I had ran through my tires by that point. I got too much heat in the right front tire. And then the aero on these trucks with this different build that they got going on with iRacing just causes a lot of aerodynamic problems that you have in real life. So it was tough to work with. The bottom line seemed like the place to be, and even if I tried to run the second lane, I just could not keep my momentum up enough to stay with them. It just seemed like there was a little more grip on the bottom lane, so I was kind of stuck where I was at. All my 4X racing guys, they were telling me that I needed to pit right when he did, just so I could stay on the same tire and same strategy as him. And I was like, hey, look, I don't really have nothing to lose. Obviously, I want to win, but I just wanted to try a different strategy than I normally do, just to see if it'd work. Obviously, it didn't, so I know that for the future, and now I can put a few more tools in my arsenal that I have to be even better next week.
Absolutely. Well, I would say losing humbly, but I mean, you were right there. As you mentioned, just heated up that right front just a little bit too much, not able to quite finish the deal off here tonight. Want to look forward to tomorrow night real quick, though, as we get ready to jump on the jet here and head up to New York for the Glen tomorrow night in the Xfinity Series. What's your thoughts on the road course tomorrow?
Well, I love racing Watkins Glen in real life. I've had a lot of success there in the K&N series, and on iRacing, I haven't really done a ton of iRacing road course races. I haven't done a ton at Watkins Glen either. So um, I'm gonna have to go to work. I'm gonna have to start practicing. I'm gonna have to start trying some things and seeing what works and what doesn't work for me. And um, I really don't know what to think. I think that I have a shot at least running fairly decent. The biggest thing is just staying on the racetrack the whole race and not making mistakes, minimizing all the mistakes you can. Just doing all the things that you can right. And if you're not the better driver that night, or you just can't figure it out as good as the other guy can, then you just kind of run where you can. So I think it's one of those racetracks that if you can just go out there, hit all your marks, do all the things right, you can at least have a shot at the top five and possibly a win. Just depends on how it all works out. So I'm actually really excited about running the road course. I just, like I said, I gotta get to work. I gotta do some practicing. Maybe I'll try to do a little bit of practicing tomorrow before the actual practice starts and see if we can't figure something out.
All right, Austin, man. Well, it's been a pleasure watching you over the past few weeks here in the Performance Motorsports Truck Series presented by Swift Motorsports. Before we let you go and enjoy the second place, though, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody else on the side of that 16?
Yeah, the Great House Company has been on the truck, all season long so far. So I got to give a big shout out to them. I think the truck looks really good. Um, Surf Pro's done really good with us, and just everybody at Forex Racing. I feel like we had a little bit of a rough night tonight. It seemed like a lot of my guys got into some things that might not have been their fault, or just got caught up in somebody else's mess, or something might have happened. And so yeah, we just got to kind of brush that off and go on to the next one. And we'll be better next week. I believe in these guys. I think they're really good at what they do. So we need a night like we had last week where we can finish all in the top 6 or 7 and have a really good night like we did. So we just got to put all the pieces together and have a nice smooth race, and I think our team can do it. So excited for the races to come.
All right, my man. Well, once again, congratulations on a great second place here tonight, and we'll catch up with you a little later on in the season.
Appreciate it. See you.
There you go. Final words from the driver sliding home in the second spot here tonight inside of that 16 machine, Austin Hill. That's going to bring us down to just the man of the hour, the man of the moment, walking away with the race win. First time to victory lane here in the Truck Series. Michael Atkins Jr., it's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Dave.
Hey, man. I've talked to you multiple times in the post-race interviews in the K&N Series. Now first time in victory lane in the trucks. How good does this win feel?
Oh, considering that driver, Austin Hill, actually runs real life in NASCAR, all I can say is, wow. And I mean, all grace and dignity and respect to Austin Hill. I'll be honest, I told my guys I was running with in Discard, Don Kidder, Andy Starcher, Nick Hunt, I told them, I was like, I believe I'm going to lose this race. I think I ran my tires off just trying to stay ahead, and ended up my strategy worked because I noticed that he pitted before me on the first green flag run, then he got ahead. I ran him down, but then I got aero tight once the tires got old. So I figured on the last pit stop, if I could get to where I needed to be on fuel and finish, if I could just get ahead and get a big enough lead, that hopefully and maybe he would just pick up that aero tight on the, in the sim on the track. And that may be what happened. I won't know for certain, but win is a win, but getting a win against a driver of his caliber, it certainly gives you a vote of confidence moving forward.
Absolutely, and I could understand that confidence build coming from that here. So as you slot into victory lane for the first time here tonight, looking forward to next week. We head to Dover, the concrete monster. What are your thoughts moving forward now that you've broke into that victory column? Does it change the way you approach the rest of this season?
Yeah, somewhat. Not really with this league. I think this league you can win all you want. It doesn't matter. I think you got to make chased by points. So Dover's going to be one of those tracks where it's going to just mind your P's and Q's, stay out of trouble the best you can, because it's a self-cleaning racetrack at Dover, and Dovers tend to be caution prone in officials. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see how they're going to practice next week and stuff like that during practice sessions. See if we want to qualify, see if we want to just ride in the back and watch it all unfold. So it's just a product of the track. It's a self-cleaning racetrack.
All right, Michael. Well, heck of a job out there tonight. Congratulations once again on your first victory here in the Truck Series for Swift Motorsports. So with all that being said, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that 41 before we let you go?
Yeah, give a shout-out to Splash and Go Graphics for the paint scheme. Second week in a row I ran it. And shout out to ECM, Darren Clement, Chad Curran for official side of things, and shout out to Don Kidder, Justin Gann, all the admins in Swift Motorsports for investing all their time and money in this league and doing their best to make it successful. Looks like it's paying off. Good, hard, clean racing for the most part.
Indeed. Well, it was great to watch you out there on track. Great to watch you break into victory lane. So we'll look forward to catching up with you maybe next week with another podium interview.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thank you.
There you have it. Final words from the man on screen right there inside of that 41. Michael Atkins Jr. walking away with the victory here tonight. Heck of a job, heck of a race. We did have a few early rash of cautions here tonight, but field was able to kind of corral that, and then we had a long green flag run to the end. 2 green flag pit stops wrapped up in that long green flag run to the end of tonight's race. Man, what a race it was. Austin Hill going to finish in second. John McMillan right there in third. Heck of a race by all 3 of your podium finishers here tonight. Some of them going to head up to New York for tomorrow night's RB Riggs Custom Computers Xfinity Series here in Swift Motorsports. But tonight, producers already on the buttons. You hear the music in the background. You know what that means. It's time to run down tonight's unofficial race results. Here for the Atlanta 108 race number 5 in season number 2, Michael Atkins Jr. captures the flag, walks away with the race win. Driver coming home in second, the 16 of Austin Hill, and John McMillan Jr. rounds out your podium spots. The 2 of Caden Atkins led a handful of laps but slotted home in the 4th spot, rounding out your top 5 here tonight. The 86 of Alan Young, Jason Harrison in the 44, slotting home in 6th. 7th place goes to Todd Cray. Don Kidder gonna bring his 03 home in the 8th spot. Edward Bray gonna finish in the 9th position. First car off the lead lap, finishing in the 10th spot, Sebastian Guggen. Lee Staples pilots his 5 machine home in the 11th spot. The 19 of Andy Starcher coming home in 12th. Larry Poling gonna finish tonight's race 2 laps down, but in the 12th position. 13th position, I apologize. Jim Thorndike right there behind him in the 14th spot, rounding out your top 15. The 22 of Brian Hitz. Chris Scholar gonna walk away from the track here tonight in the 16th spot. Ryan Branchew right there in 17th. 18th spot goes to the 00 of Nick Hunt. The 62 of Stephen Ayers Jr. gonna finish in 19th, rounding out your top 20 here tonight. After early race trouble and damage, the 28 machine piloted by Ron Schutte. The 4 of Jim Ott gonna walk away in 21st. 22nd goes to Jimmy Cormier. Toby Bird gonna finish tonight's Atlanta 108. Back in the 23rd spot, Kevin Haas gonna walk away in 24th. 25th goes to the 08 of Britt Crawford. David Cameron slotting home in 26th. 27th spot goes to John McMillan Sr. after trouble bringing us under caution for the first time tonight in the Atlanta 108. Big time shout out. Can't forget the guys over there in race control, keeping everybody straight, keeping the restarts right. Big time shout out, tip of the cap to Justin Gann as well as Gary Wells. Heck of a job by both of you over there in the admin tower, race control. And with that being said, race fans, not much left to do except roll up the cords and head off to Watkins Glen for tomorrow night's RB Riggs Custom Computers Xfinity Series here in Swift Motorsports. So with all that being said, race fans, there's, as I said, not much left to do here from the track. So if you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, and smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live. Whether it's myself, Dark Side Dave in the cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters, we do appreciate each and every one of you each and every time you stop by here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Whether you're just stopping by, the dedicated fan, friend, or family, we appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, there would be no us. New day, new year underway, but let's stay safe. Stay loved, my friends. Until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.